How we doing, people? Welcome back to Jimmy Case TV and A Case for the Blues. We're doing another transfer roundup of all the transfer news surrounding Chelsea Football Club over the past week or so. We will touch base on our rival clubs as well, because the market has been heating up recently as we move towards the start of the season. Obviously, all of these clubs are trying to get their players in, get them into the training camps and get them mixing with the other players and get them in on their tactics. So I expect over the coming weeks that's going to intensify a lot more than that. I've been wanting to get this video out a little bit sooner, but I've been trying to switch over to OBS on the streaming side of things. Mate, it is so confusing. So if there's anybody out there that knows how to do OBS, please get in touch. I could do with your help. The usual. Before we get going, please leave a like on the video and hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Slowly but surely, this channel is growing in subscribers. Very much appreciate all the new ones coming through. Also, if you do like a bit of gaming, obviously I've got some gaming content on there and I do stream regularly in gaming. Before we get going on the transfer side of things, we do the usual, the little disclaimer. I'm not an ITK. I'm not in the know. I don't have any special sources, any links to any agents, players, etc. that are going to give you any breaking news. We are literally discussing all of the transfer news that's been circulating around on social media, newspapers, news, discussions, etc., etc. Now, it's been very, very busy in the last week or so since I posted my last video, and one of the main ones that happened literally after I posted my video was João Felix to Al Nassr for £40 million. That is great business by Chelsea FC. Now, again, and I've said it before, I put it on my Twitter. This is our market and you are just living in it. When it comes to transfers, Chelsea are just kings. We're just the kings at doing business. Now, that is a very shrewd bit of business from the club. I thought we was going to catch a big L on João Felix because he left halfway through the season. We paid a bit of money for him and we've managed to recoup exactly what we paid for him with more. I believe we made a couple of mil profit on him, which is fantastic. Obviously, we've got loan fees for him as well. And I can only credit the club for that bit of business. So obviously, rival fans are saying, oh, it's Al Nassr, this is dodgy, etc., etc. Forget all that, man. You got to understand we've been doing this for a long time. We make good sales. And that's the reason why we're able to spend a lot of money, because we're very good at doing it. Another transfer that came in this week was Hato. Of Monday, we were moving closer to the agreement from, as highlighted by David Ornstein. I mean, they were doing it all week. I mean, the Xavi Simons rumours have gone quiet recently over the last few days or so, but they were doing it all week. We're moving closer. We couldn't get any closer. So we knew that this deal was going to happen. And finally, we have got the deal done for around 40 million. I think it's going to be a little bit above that. He comes in, as I imagine, as a left-back backup for Cucurella, but he can also play centre-back. So that's a good option to have. He's very highly rated, as I've been saying in my previous videos, for Ajax, highly rated by Virgil van Dijk. He's given his credit to him. So one to look out for, and I'm excited for him. But obviously, when you look at the pathway for him into the first team, you can see Cucurella at the time that he's going to be about 32 years old or something like that. João Hato is going to be in his peak and coming up to 27. You'll probably see us start to, bring someone else through. Now, when you think about who else we've got in the team that we probably sent out on loan, I think we've got Caleb Wiley, obviously another youngster. Not sure what that does for him. Now, I don't actually know if this guy's been sold. I remember saying something recently and someone said he's gone. I should really know. Let me just quickly check he hasn't been sold, because I'm sure he went back out on loan. Caleb Wiley. He's at loan at Watford. He went on loan. So he's still at the club. I wonder what that does for him and him coming back, or is that another player that we might be looking to cash in the future? Another deal done that we got over the last week or so. Another deal that we got done over the last week or so. I can't get my words out. Is Jesse Derry, youngster from Crystal Palace. Now, if you've seen his training videos, now again, I don't recommend just watching training videos or YouTube clips. I recommend watching these matches to see exactly what you think of the player. But his training clips look good. For a youngster, he's very active. He's very good at these one-on-ones, very good at being direct and taking his players on. So this is one to watch out for. This could be the Mudryk signing that we thought we was going to get. You know, the player that can take players on, run down the wing, whip the ball in. So this is a very interesting signing, and it'd be interesting to see how he fits in the team. You know, whether he's coming in as a first team player, whether he's going in the reserves, whether we're going to send him out on loan. I'd imagine he'll probably end up getting a loan at some point in his Chelsea career. Talking of loans, Mark Gui ended up going to Sunderland. Good move for him. He can obviously, you know, focus on getting some minutes in the first team, but I also saw they were looking for a Pendal, which is not ideal if that goes through for Mark Gui. I'd imagine that's going to affect his game time, something that we don't want. If that was me and I'm Chelsea and I knew that they were going to automatically go and do that, I'd be saying, well, what the fuck? We've just sent you Mark Gui, expecting you to play him. So send him back. Frustrating, but I reckon that's a good move for Mark Gui. I think he'll get his time at Sunderland, get some good first team football, and hopefully, you know, get ready for the Prem, and he can join Chelsea when he's ready and bang for Chelsea. That's the hope. Or we do the usual, we get his value up and we cash in. We're just good at doing it. People moan about it, but me, I'll be honest with you, as long as we keep improving the first team, I don't mind this model. I don't mind us sending kids out on loan, getting their value up, sending them, then selling them, making the money. As long as we continue to improve that first team. And the thing is, we sign so many youngsters, eventually we're going to hit gems, you know, like your Cole Palmer. We will eventually hit a lot of them. And eventually we will have a team full of gems. If we've got Esteval coming in, who we announced yesterday, we've got Quenda coming in. Apparently, he's supposed to be a wonder kid on his way up. Hato, supposed to be a wonder kid. Mike Penders, who's just joined Strasbourg on loan, is supposed to be a wonder kid goalkeeper. Ken Dupayas, who's also just joined Strasbourg on loan, supposed to be a wonder kid coming up. So, you know, you see how the patterns, we keep taking all the talent. Eventually, we're going to end up with an 11 of all of these players that we've plucked out and gone, you know what, they're ready, they're superstars. And it might not work that way, but at least we know, we can be confident as Chelsea fans that we're going to cash in on these players. Because I think this board has shown that they're capable of buying and selling. And if it isn't working out, we move you on. A good example of that is Kieran Dewsbury-Hall. Now, I wouldn't say that this one didn't work. I actually think this one worked for both club and I think it worked both for player. He got a nice payday. He got a nice move playing in the Prem. He got a nice move playing for a club like Chelsea from coming from Leicester. He got game time. He played a lot of minutes in the Conference League. He won a Conference League. He also won a Club World Cup. Toward the initial signing, a lot of Chelsea fans were saying, what's the point? Even myself included, didn't understand it. When we saw Conor Gallagher going out and we saw Dewsbury-Hall coming in, we think, what is this? You know, what is this as a replacement? But I think it's actually worked. He become a utility player, very reliable, and you knew what you was going to get out of him. And Enzo Maresca trusted him to come back onto the pitch, late on in the game and do a job. So thank you, Kieran Dewsbury-Hall, because he's signed for Everton. I think that's a great move for him and for the club, Everton. I think they, like I said, they know what the player they're getting now. Very reliable. Think it was for around 25 mil plus add-ons. So again, another good deal. I think the total adds up to 29 million, but when you amortize the contract, we end up making a 5 million profit on PSR. Something along them lines. To me, I'm still struggling to understand PSR. You know, I need to do it. I haven't taken the time out of my day to really dig into it to try and understand it. That's on me. I should do that. But another good bit of business from Chelsea. Now, obviously, surplus to requirements. We've got a lot of people coming in. And again, we've managed to move him on and we've managed to get a good fee. Leslie Ugchukwu. Now, sorry if I say that name wrong. You know me, I'm not very good at pronouncing names. It's, deal done on a permanent move to Burnley, signing a 5-year contract. I don't think the fee for this has actually been released. I haven't seen a fee. So if anyone can get in the comments and tell me what the fee was, I'd very much appreciate it. But obviously, we know he was surplus to requirements. Now, I think we bought him for about 20 million. So whether or not we took an L on that one, I don't know. I was expecting to take an L on this player. So was everybody else. I mean, a lot of rival fans have been expecting us to lose money on all of these signings that we have been making because they don't think it's sustainable. But these owners are showing that it is sustainable currently because we are making money. A lot of Chelsea fans, there's some out there that are saying all they care about is profit, profit, profit. But if we're churning out trophies, we're improving the first team. Why does anybody matter? Well, I mean, why does anybody care? Do you know what I mean? We're getting our fix, we're getting our trophies. The financial side of things and the debt that we're accumulating, one to watch out for. That is one to watch out for. We don't want to be in a Manchester United scenario. But so far, we are recouping what we're selling. So we can't complain. Armando Broja, another one that we've ended up selling to Burnley. Now, apparently they matched our valuation, which was around £25 million. Another great bit of business. That's fantastic business. 25 million, and we finally got him off of our books as well. So Chelsea are really starting to cut the squad down. But obviously, we've always got incomings. We're very, very active in the market. Ishe Samuel Smith sold to Strasbourg for a £6.5 million fee. Again, 6.5 million straight in the bank. We'll take it. It's just Chelsea are doing very, very well in this market. And we're still not done. Obviously, I said the Xavi Simons rumours have gone a bit quiet. Other than that, in terms of signings, it has kind of filtered out. I haven't seen much about who Chelsea are looking to sign, other than the big one. The big one that we're always hearing about recently, and it just won't go away, is Alessandro Garnacho, or Alex Garnacho, as he's changed his name to. Now, for obvious reasons, these rumours are not going down well with Chelsea fans. Obviously, he comes from a toxic team like Manchester United. There's problems in the background with his, brother posting stuffs online when, going against the manager. You don't need that kind of nonsense in the background as a footballer. Fans don't like to see it. But also he stunk the pitch out. Let's be honest, he hasn't had the best 2 seasons. I'm not going to lie. But for me, I'm not going to lie, I still think there's a player in there. When he burst on the scene, everybody liked this kid. Everybody who said, yeah, this kid's got it. He plays for his national team, so he's got experience behind his belt. He's got a lot of experience for such a young player. So maybe he just needs a different change of environment. We see Sancho leave, change of environment. He does all right. He comes to Chelsea. Yeah, he didn't light it up, but he done all right. He did all right. It wasn't amazing, but in the end, you'd probably have thought, you know what, I'd actually keep him as a squad player. And I think this scenario with Garnacho, if we can sign him on the cheap, it will be exactly the same. Now, I've seen Man United fans saying, we want 60 million, 60, 65. Nah. Chelsea apparently are holding out for 30 million, saying that's what we want to spend. Otherwise, you can stay at Man United. Now, he's already come out and said that he wants Chelsea, so that's going to cause more grief with him and the fans. He's pushing for the move. Chelsea have been interested since way back. Now, when it first came out, I'm not going to lie, I had an issue with it. I mean, for me, it's not... None of our signings, I'm not going to lie, I've sat there and gone, wow, what an incredible signing. No big names. Do you know what I mean? Xavi Simons is probably the biggest name out of all of them. Do you know what I mean? But we're signing players that complement the team, and we saw that with João Pedro, one who I wasn't sure about, didn't understand it, thought we should be going for like the likes of Osimhen, etc. Comes in on the Club World Cup, and he's proven that he's got something about him already, that we've got something to look forward to seeing. Delap, I always wanted Delap, but I always saw him as a squad player who could potentially go on to be a first team striker. So I was happy with that one, but nothing screaming at me like, this is a team in the Champions League or the Club World Cup. We're signing these players to win it. But we still went out and won that competition. So, what I've learned is that I've got a little bit more faith in what this board and what the manager is doing in terms of incomings and the outgoings. So I'm not going to kick up a fuss. Garnacho, if we can get him on the cheap, why not go for it? £30 million. He's young. There's still value there. And like we've already proven, if it doesn't work, we can move them on. And it might be the case that this is what they're looking at. They might be looking at him going, you know what, he's either going to come to the club, change of environment, and we're going to see that player that we saw when he first broke on the scene at Manchester United. You know, he's got a good goal catalogue. You can see his goals. They're good. Obviously, again, like I said, he has stunk the place out for the last 2 seasons, but look who's been playing under. You've got to consider these things. Some people just look at him and say, nah, he's just not, he ain't got it. He ain't got the talent. I hear it. But maybe he just needs some decent coaching. Maybe his confidence is on the floor. Obviously, the guy's got crazy ego. Pause. Crazy. But you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. You might come across that way, but he might be thinking in his head, oh, what am I playing at? Do you know what I'm saying? So for this one, if we can get him on the cheap, I'd take the risk. We're going to need left wing backup. Mudrik's not there. Sterling ain't going to be here. Madueke's gone. Gittins is there. Tyree George, the rumours that he might be going out on loan or looking for a permanent move. I think it's one to take a punt on, if I'm being honest with you. But it has to be for cheap. If we're talking max at 40 million, anything above that, I'm starting to think, 40, 45, would I be happy with that? 50 million, I'm thinking, come on, bro. It's a bit much. Do you know what I'm saying? Other links that we've had over the past week or so, we've been linked with Sesko over the past week. Now, obviously, the Sesko news coming out over the past week, we'll get to that. Obviously, that ain't happening. We know it ain't happening. And like I say, I'll try and go through all the rumours, whether or not they're bullshit or not, there's no concrete evidence behind it. I'll go through it and I'll call it out. The Sesko rumours, not going anywhere. You know, that's not going anywhere. We know where he's going. We'll get to that in a minute. That was of Sunday, that link come out. Arden Jashori from Club Bruges. I've never heard of him. And when I called it out, West Ham fans were getting on to me saying, oh, hold on, we were trying to get him. He's very good. Da, 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 da. Apparently, we're bidding for him, but I haven't seen anything else from that. The Donnarumma rumours. Now, obviously, I said he's going through a little contract situation, and we knew that the rumours would kickstart. And since then, we have been rumoured with going in for him. Haven't seen anything since. It's been a little bit quiet on the incomings for Chelsea over the last few days or so since we've announced Hato and Esteval. I haven't really seen anything other than Garnacho. Even Xavi Simons, that's gone very quiet. I haven't seen anything. If anyone else has, please let me know. It's been a week of just people leaving the club. Obviously, Donnarumma is also linked with plenty of other clubs. He might be just using us for make weight. You know, should we be going in for him? I think so. I think so. You know, this is a champion. He's won League Un. Do you know what I'm saying? Won a Champions League. We need to upgrade that goalkeeper position. We know that. We can't sit there and rely on Sanchez to pull out all of them performances week in, week out, like he did in the Club World Cup. If he can, keep him. But we've seen enough to know that we can't trust that. So I still think that we need to go in the market for the goalkeeper. Mike Maignan, maybe we're still in for him, waiting for him to go on a free, potentially. Who knows? For rumours, that's all I've got for Chelsea in terms of the rumours. Like I said, it's been quite quiet recently, but the outgoings has been where it's been loud. Carney Chukwuemeka linked with a move to Dortmund, also linked to Leipzig. Obviously, German clubs are interested in him. Dortmund revitalising their links after we said we only want to sell him on a permanent deal. We were not looking to loan him again, but still Dortmund are persisting for a loan deal, trying to buy him with an obligation to buy after a certain amount of games. The fee being around 21 million to 26 million. So we're going to take an L on this player. I knew we would. You know, it's a bit of a disappointing one, to be fair, because the kid's obviously got some talent, and I'm not quite sure what's gone wrong with him at the club. Maybe it's the manager just doesn't favour him, doesn't suit the system, or maybe it was that injury that he got before he went out on loan that made them sit back and go, do you know what, this guy's got a risky injury that might reoccur. I don't know. Maybe he just doesn't suit the team, and that's it. But I always felt like, yeah, we're going to take an L on this one. But the obligation to buy after a certain amount of games screams like they're trying to scam us, because they'll always just stop playing him when it gets to that point, and they'll have him on loan for however long, and they'll take the piss out of us. If they take on all of his wages, then fair enough. But again, they could be pulling a little bit of a scam there. I'd take out that little clause about how many games he plays and just say obligation to buy. That's final. At the end of the season, you have to you have to buy him, or you pay a fee. I spoke about it just a minute ago. Tyreek George apparently not happy with the amount of game time that he's getting. Bit surprised because he got a lot last season. I thought he had his chance. Did he impress? Yes, he did impress. Did he light it up to the point where I think he's going to be a first team starter week in, week out? No. Do I think he's going to be pushing the players that we're bringing in? No. Am I annoyed that we're bringing in players that are potentially better than him? No. So is it a good deal? Yeah, I do think so. If we can take the opportunity to sell him now while his value might be quite high, and Tyreek George obviously wants more minutes, it could benefit both parties. I put it online the other day. I didn't understand people moaning at the fact that we're selling our youth products. Who says that we can't do that? And what is it? Is it because people are fixed on this idea of the organic growth in the club? For me, if you're improving the first team, these players aren't going to get into the first team. Why not sell them? Why are we just hoarding them? Makes no sense to me. Makes no sense. I like Tyreek George, but I just don't feel like he's going to go there, So if we can get money for him, it helps us out in the long run. And I get it from his point of view. If we're linked to Garnacho, I'd be pissed off as well. Do you know what I'm saying? So, bit annoying. I mean, we got that Rio. I can't say his surname. I really can't. Rio for Liverpool, the youngster that left us to sign for Liverpool, who plays on that side, and we gave Tyreek George minutes over him. Bit frustrating. I mean, he's doing well, obviously, in pre-season. When we haven't seen what he's going to do first team and playing in the Prem, pre-season, yeah, it's a good gauge, but, it's not the real stuff yet. So he's getting highly bigged up, just like Max Dowman and just like our youngsters as well. Let's see what he produces. But just by looking at that, a little bit frustrating that could have been us playing him instead of Tyreek George if we knew it was going to play out like this. But I don't think we were thinking that at the time. I thought they think, let's give Tyreek George his opportunity. And I think he's just got to the point where he can't see his route to the first team. Ideally, I would like him to stay, just because I like the player, And if he does develop, great, we'll keep him. We'll put him in the squad. He can be beneficial. He scored a very important goal for us. But with the additions of Gittins and the links with Garnacho, I can see where it's going for him and the club. Datra Fofana back from injury, and already Chelsea are now looking to sell someone we just can't get off the books recently. He's been on a lot of loans. Another one that came up from Al Nassr, and that was from Cristiano Ronaldo saying that he wanted Cucurella. Now, these links were quite a while back, but no chance. Come on, let's be honest. No chance. There's no way that we'd sell him. I heard that Chelsea were now in talks to give him another contract for his performances, which he's earned. And I think that's good. And I think that's good that Chelsea have that rule and they use that contract scenario of incentivized contracts. You play well, you get a bigger contract. We saw it with Palmer. We've seen it with Nicholas Jackson, to be fair. If we was to sell, what would we get for him? Let me know in the comments. Me personally, minimum, just to get the conversation started, there needs to be 80 million slapped on that contract. Minimum. That's just to get the conversation going. Because I'm so happy with Cucurella and how he's got into the team and he's just taken that left back role. And you know what? This season, I guarantee you people will be saying this is the best left back in the world. Guarantee you. They were talking about Mendes being the best left back in the world, and you saw what Gusto done to him in the Club World Cup. Absolutely ruined him. Nicholas Jackson is obviously another outgoing that has been linked with a move away. Now, apparently, it's come out from Fabrizio that he's definitely leaving the club. Now, he's been linked to quite a fair few clubs. He's been linked with Aston Villa. He's been linked with Newcastle. He's been linked with Manchester United. He was even linked to Arsenal at one point, and he also got linked to Barcelona on last Wednesday. Apparently, coming out as if they were strong contenders to sign him. Now, that's all changed, obviously, with the scenario that's going on with Villa. They've just signed a new striker, Evan Gesend, for 30 million with 5 mil add-ons. He looks a bit of a lumpy fella, so he could be quite good in the Prem, strong strikers. Let's see how that one develops. But with that signing of the striker for Villa, and then you've got all the Sesko nonsense going on in the background with Newcastle and Manchester United, we might potentially be seeing Nicholas Jackson making a move to Newcastle United. Manchester United look like they've gone and got Sesko. We'll get to that in a minute. But where Nicholas Jackson ends up could potentially lean in towards Newcastle. And we'll get to that when we talk about the Sesko fiasco and when we get to Manchester United and Newcastle. For now, sticking on topic with Aston Villa, the Morgan Rogers links. He's not even in the bottom row anymore. Where's that gone? That's completely gone out the window. No more links. I haven't seen any. Nothing else on. I haven't got anything else on Aston Villa. Now, Arsenal. We'll get to Arsenal. I think Arsenal have been quite quiet over the last week or so as well. Obviously, Gabriel Jesus was linked away with a move since Gyökeres come in with AC Milan, Inter Milan, and Newcastle all interested. That was of last Monday. The Eze rumours picked up and now they've gone a bit quiet. Haven't heard anything else. So in terms of outgoings, incomings for Arsenal, very, very quiet at the moment. Haven't seen anything. Obviously, they're right into their pre-season at the moment. Lost today against Villarreal 3-2. Pepe dunking on them. Interesting. So not quite sure where they're going. Obviously, I've reported before. What am I a reporter? I'm not a knob. I said before that the Eze deal, I've been told, is already done. I reckon that's still in the pipeline. I reckon they're waiting on a deadline day, a little bit of breaking news. You'll see I reckon the deadline day is going to be quite active. I think all of these, ITKs and all of these, newsbreakers like your Fabrizios and David Ornsteins, I think they're holding back on certain transfers. So when it gets to the deadline day, they can all go boom, 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 add a little bit of spice to that day. And I think Eze is going to be one of them for Arsenal. But let's see how that goes. Now, Tottenham signed João Paulina from Bayern Munich. I think this was a player we were linked to before for £50 million. Before we signed, might have been Caicedo, he signs from Bayern Munich in a loan with a £30 million option to buy. I think that's some good business for Tottenham, to be fair. I think they're going to need some legs in that midfield, and he'll offer some, it's a solid signing, in my opinion. The Morgan Gibbs fiasco, obviously, that's not going anywhere anymore. He signed a new contract for Nottingham Forest after Gazidis held a gun to the back of him and told him to sign a contract. So, bit quiet for Tottenham, because that's it. And now Maddison's just got a really bad injury. They need to go back into the market. Now, if I was them, I'd go and try and do a sneaky one on Eze. See if you can compete with Arsenal in the market. See if you can offer more money for Eze and go, you know what, I'm going to take him off of you. That's what Tottenham need to do, and it's what Tottenham don't do. They don't go in, they don't challenge other clubs for the players that they're signing. How often do we see a bidding war going through for Tottenham and other big clubs? I call Tottenham a big club. They're not a big club, but if they want to be in that position, go steal Arsenal's links. Go get Eze. You're going to need him. Maddison's just got injured. Go get him. Other than that, I haven't seen any more links for Tottenham. Like, what are they doing? What are they trying to do? Obviously, I've seen expressions on YouTube. He's going mental saying we need more signings. Because they do. They do. And even their outgoings. I'm not seeing any outgoings. Interesting. Liverpool. Now, this team have been very, very, very busy. Very busy. They're gearing up. As I've said before, they're gearing up for dominance. English football, European football, that's what they're going for. Feels like they've sorted out their finances. Feels like that 1 year of taking a break of spending money has sorted their finances out, put them in a very healthy position. Winning the league has been absolutely perfect timing for them. Finishing top of the Champions League has been brilliant. They've done a lot of outgoings that have bolstered their fund and their pot to sign players. I'm not sitting here going, how are they buying these players? What I am sitting here is going, why is no one chatting shit about it like they done to Chelsea? When it's Liverpool, it's okay. When it's Chelsea, it's oil money and it's, you're fucking cheating and, it's, bullshit. We're doing like, we're loopholes and all this shit. PSR, we're breaking PSR. Okay, we might have done. I think we did 40 behind, but that they come out and said it was because of previous owners, the backlog of that, and we should be okay now. And we've had to take that on the chest. We paid a fine. We admitted to it before they even took over the club, and they've still said like this is the backlog of it. And they might be chatting shit. They might be. Could well be. Anyway, Liverpool. Luis Diaz, full agreement with Bayern Munich, £75 million, euro package. Now that's a problem. That's more money in the pot. Isaac bid during the week, lowballed them, told them we'd bid 120 million, sent 110. Newcastle immediately rejected it. Newcastle are holding out for a fee bigger than Works, apparently. That's what I heard today. Now, obviously, that's going to be a huge problem. Now, I think this Isaac deal is done, if I'm honest with you. Isaac is obviously, he wasn't training with with Newcastle. He was training with Real Sociedad. He's causing friction in the changing rooms now. Obviously, he's got problems with the manager because he's putting his foot down saying, I want Liverpool. I want to leave. He's tried to say that he's being respectful about it. I don't think he has, if I'm honest with you. He's forcing the move. But footballers' careers are short. So I kind of understand that if you want your move, you want a dream move, you've got to do what you've got to do. Which I don't agree with it. I think there needs to be an element of professionalism. But if you was in that position, what would you do? How would you try and get that move? Maybe there was an agreement prior. You don't know what goes on fully behind the scenes, but either way, Liverpool are building a big pot here to get this deal done. They've just sold Darwin Núñez to Al Hilal for 53 million with add-ons. No doubt that's going to help fund the Isaac deal. Harvey Elliott is linked with RB Leipzig. They sold one of their academy players to, it might have even been Leipzig, for like 15 million euros, and never heard of him. Everyone's going, what the hell? They're gearing up to buy Isaac, and it will be a deadline day deal. It will be done. He will be a Liverpool player. I'm telling you now. We're going to see him in a Liverpool shirt. And if we don't, I'll be shocked. I will be shocked. And I'll be surprised if he plays for Newcastle as well. The way it's gone down, he'll be on the bench for a very long time. And he'll have to win over the players again. I saw the Newcastle fans outside the training ground shouting shit at his car. Obviously, they're pissed off. I don't blame them. They've had let me not swear, they've had an absolutely shocking time in this transfer market. Like, I can't remember a club that has had such a bad window in my life. Not like this. They've been rejected by almost every single player that they've been in for. They're losing their players. They've signed Ramsdale, goalkeeper. They wanted Trafford. They didn't get him. It's a loan deal with an option to buy. That's probably to make sure, because obviously Nick Pope is a little bit injury prone, isn't he? So that's probably as a backup option. They're struggling hard to keep their best player in Isaac. They got Sesko is the next one, the big fiasco around Sesko. They've said that, we'll offer 70 million or 75 million. In come Manchester United, approached his camp. We saw Newcastle, we saw Sesko apparently, this was as of last week, reject Manchester United and said he wanted the Newcastle. Bid goes in from Newcastle and Manchester United match it with more add-ons 75 million plus 10 million in add-ons, and Sesko's made his mind up and said, I'll have some of that. I want Manchester United now. Now, Manchester United haven't even got Champions League football. But it's Manchester United. I see this online earlier. Newcastle fans complaining, saying this is what the Big Six have done. They've turned it into the Super League. How can he be choosing Manchester United because of the wages that they can pay him over us? This is Manchester United Football Club. Look at the badge that I'm wearing. I'm a Chelsea fan, and even though you've got to be realistic, it's Manchester. Are these real football fans that they don't understand the stature of Manchester United? Probably the second biggest club in world football. Up there with Barcelona, Real Madrid's, your Bayern Munich's. These are the massive club. And their revenue is ridiculous. Now, they like to go on like they're broke. Bullshit. They've had issues with PSR, which they've obviously had what's-his-face come in, Ratcliffe come in and try and resolve it all. They're laying people off left, right and centre. They use that as an excuse to cut the staff. We ain't got no money, we're going to cut them all. Rather than just harshly doing it, they had to tell people a little sob story, we got no money. This is Manchester United. Biggest brand in football alongside Real Madrid. You cannot sit there and say, how are they buying these players? You cannot do that, not to Manchester United. Obviously, they're offering them big wages because they've got the money. They've got a massive stadium. Their revenue's big. And that appeals to players. It's a job at the end of the day. They've got to earn their money. Obviously, there's the element of playing in the big competitions. But at the same time, Manchester United, massive club. Maybe the project that's been put forward also appealed to them more than the Newcastle project. I mean, Newcastle have been turned down by so many players. Maybe there's something wrong with the project that they're offering them. But this is one to watch out for because Manchester United definitely need a striker because Højlund is whack. And we've seen that in pre-season as well. He just ain't up to scratch. Now, Sesko coming in, Cunha coming in, and Mbeumo coming in. They're building a decent attack here. And if these are Ruben Amorim signings, I'd imagine that he's got a plan for them and how they fit in his system. I think they still need to go out and try and sign a centre midfielder, someone who's like a 6 who can pick up the ball and pass it around a little bit, have a little bit of a vision, slow the ball down, ball carry, etc. Apparently, they're looking into Belieber. I think that would be a good signing from Brighton. I think they've still got work to do. They need a goalkeeper. Let's be honest, Onana's not it. He's not it. But they're starting to build a decent side, to be fair. Back on Tottenham, I just realised something. Heung-min Son today announced that he announced during the week that he's leaving the club, but today he officially signs for MLS side. Where is it? Where's my phone? I've lost my phone. Where's my phone gone? Fuck knows. Oh, here it is. It's in my pocket. I just want to find out who he signed for because I don't know the club. Heung-min Son. Major League Soccer. Oh, it's LAFC. Signs today. Left the club after however many years. Probably goes down as a Tottenham legend. In terms of how much of a legend he is for the club, that's all down to them. Do you know what I'm saying? But obviously, for their era of football, he will definitely go down as a legend of the club. You know, they ain't got many, let's be honest. They ain't got many that have won anything. A lot of their legends haven't even won anything. You know what I'm saying? West Ham signed Callum Wilson on a free on an incentive-based contract. I think that's a good deal. Good for the player, good for West Ham. Obviously, he's an injury-prone player, so the incentive-based is obviously probably based on him playing games, etc. But they need a backup striker. They need a striker. In fact, I don't know what's going on with Antonio, whether he's coming back. I don't know whether they're going to keep Bowen up top. But other than that, I haven't really seen them buy or sell anyone. They need to go into the market. Now, apparently they are rumoured with Raheem Sterling, which I think would be another good buy for them. We'd have to subsidise his wage, no doubt. We know that. We know that wherever he's going to go, we're going to end up subsidising it. I think that will be a good move for the player and for West Ham. So in terms of who else West Ham are linked with, another club that's not really moving, not really doing anything. Another club not really doing anything is Manchester City. I think they've already done their business in January. I think they've done it. I haven't seen any more links. I haven't seen any more outgoings. The only outgoings that were rumoured around was Rodri. Apparently, there were talks that Madrid were looking to offer Eduardo Camavinga, Rodrigo, and 40 million just to sign the player. I mean, that sounds like a good deal to me because I know how important Rodri is, but if you can get two players out of it and 40 million, it kind of feels like a good deal. Young international and Camavinga, we know how good he is. We know how good Rodrigo is. Both winners, both won everything you could think of in La Liga. So that's quite a good deal, to be fair. But the value is in Rodri. And you saw how important he was to the team last year and the effect that had. So one to look out for. Now, Sunderland are one club that has been very, very active in the market. Granit Xhaka signed. £20 million fee. Never saw this coming. 2-year contract. I would never have expected to see Granit Xhaka back in the Premier League playing for Sunderland. Obviously, he's coming towards the end of his career and he's probably thinking, you know what, I'll try something different. I'm going to go play for Sunderland. But good luck living up there, mate, because you're going to realise it's a shithole. Do you know what I mean? So you've gone from London. You're going to have a big culture shock when you go live up there, mate. But Sunderland are obviously spending a lot of dough. They've spent 130 million euros. They're trying to stay up. Diarra, Lefi, Talibi, Adingra, Sadiki, Ronaldo, Xhaka, and also Gui on loan. Now, that is a lot of players, and sometimes that can have an adverse effect on how your system's going to work and how you come in. But you can see their intent. They're trying to stay in the Premier League, and fair play to them. Everton. Obviously, we spoke about them signing Kieran Dewsbury-Hall. I think that's a fantastic signing. But they're also trying to go in for Tyler Diblin at Southampton. They put a bid in and apparently they rebuffed it, come back and said, no, we want 45 million plus 5 million add-ons. Mental. That is mental. Anyway, I've waffled on for quite a long time. I haven't got anything else. I feel like I'm a little bit behind on the transfer news because I've been so busy this week. So if there's anything else that you can think of or you can put in the chat, get involved in the comments and let's get this going. Let's get this transfer talk going. What do you think about your club signings? What do you think they need to do? Me, I think Chelsea still need to go in the market for potentially a right centre-back, a goalkeeper, and you know, if we are looking at selling Nicholas Jackson, I kind of feel like we need to go in the market to get another striker. We've just sent out Mark Gui on loan, but you know, having two strikers for the whole of the season, if one gets injured, we're going to be short. I mean, I know Jackson's going AFCON anyway, so we're going to be short in January or December in January anyway. He's definitely not playing the first game of the season because of his ban. I kind of feel like we might need to explore maybe getting another striker. Me personally, it's a difficult one. Would I keep him? I was done when he got the red card in the Club World Cup. I'll be honest with you. I said I'm sick. I was done when he done it in Newcastle. I said I'm sick to death of this guy. He's brainless, and what he offers ain't good enough. His G&A is actually decent for 2 years worth of football, but it's just what you see. His all-round game. He's not very well-rounded. He's very calamitous, you know, and you see Delap come on, and you know that when he hits that ball, it's going to stay hit, and you know like he did against the PSG. Come on, first shot, top bins, great save from Donnarumma. I've never seen Jackson do a shot like that. If he did, it's going wide, or he ain't getting off the floor. He's p-rolling it. But there's elements to his game that I do like. Now, sorry, again, I get hiccups when I start streaming. But now, if his value is at peak value now, we've seen Newcastle offer 70 million for Sesko. They're interested in Jackson. We demanded 70 million. Do you know what I'm saying? If you're willing to spend 70 million for Sesko, Liverpool are willing to spend 70 million on Ekatike plus add-ons, making it 90. Chelsea are going to be demanding the exact same because he's proven himself in the Prem. He's got a decent amount of goals in the Prem. Obviously, he gets laughed at and everything for the chances that he does miss. But, you know, for Newcastle, I can see him fitting how they play as well. So, one to watch out for. Would I get rid of him? I'd like to say no, because I'd like the option of a third striker. I don't think his position as starting striker should immediately go. We've seen João Pedro come in and we've seen Delap come in, but we haven't seen him over a period of time that I think warrants that, you know. Obviously, João Pedro had a fantastic tournament and showed that he can play there. So really, I would keep him, but I wouldn't begrudge the club selling him if we look at it at a point where he's hit his maximum value. Now's the time. But I do think we should maybe explore that market again and going for a striker. Now, like I said, waffled on for too long. Let me know what you think about your club's transfers. Let me know what you think should happen. Leave a like on the video, sub if you're new, and I'll catch you on the next one. I should be doing a live stream on Friday. I think we've got a friendly. I can't remember who we're playing, but I'll put the stream up. Stay tuned, and thanks for tuning in anyway. Peace.